Hello YouTube. It has been a while. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Patriot Apparel. If you like my shirt, Patriot Apparel is a veteran-owned and veteran-run apparel company. Hardcore patriots, obviously, and they are located in Texas. So when I found Patriot Apparel, I absolutely had to place an order. They have been so incredibly fantastic. The shipping was fast. The shirts are so comfortable. Check them out, Patriot Apparel. I'll put a link in the description of this video. So I just wanted to do this video kind of off the cuff. I have a new mic and I have a new camera. All the equipment ready to go, ready to set up. So this will probably be the last video that I'm filming on my phone, which is a great thing, but I didn't want to hook all my stuff up and have to wait for that in order to do this video, because frankly, I got a little bit of a mad on. I was looking through Facebook, scrolling through my Facebook feed, and I saw an article that stated, immigrants at the border make new demands for the United States government. And I began to write a Facebook post about it. And the more that I wrote, the longer the post got, I thought, no, I'm just going to share this little message via YouTube. So, to those at the border making demands, I think you need a couple of lessons. The first lesson is Americans don't like being told what to do. Not by anyone, not by the government, and certainly not by ingrates who have absolutely no place giving their opinion or saying anything. You don't make demands. That's a really big thing with us, Americans. Because guess what? Americans are the most generous people possibly on the face of the planet. We outgive European nations multiple times over in charitable donations. When a tragedy takes place, we'll give blood. We will give the shirt off our back if we are able to. We give our tithes, we give charitable donations and offerings continually. We are the most generous nation that exists. But guess what happens when people make demands of us? People who have absolutely no place making demands. You're not going to get our help. You are going to get one thing, and it's the middle finger. Lesson number one. Lesson number two, and I had to give this a little bit of thought. I was talking to a friend of mine who happens to live in Sweden. This is a little rabbit trail, but I think it's pertinent. My friend lives in Sweden, and I asked him if his family was always from Sweden, because I'd been watching the Vikings on the History Channel, and it's so odd to me and to most Americans that the land that someone would live on is the same land that their ancestors have walked for thousands of years. That's just something not a lot of Americans think about, because so many of us are transplants. And if you'll notice, I did not say that so many of us are immigrants, because we hear that constantly. America's a nation of immigrants. No, we are a nation of citizens. We are Americans. We have our own culture. It's an American culture. And so when I asked my friend this question, he said that he believed that there were, I guess, some Portuguese immigration that had that was a part of his ancestry at some point. And he is the one that mentioned immigration and essentially just said that the one thing that bothers him about the mass immigration that's taken place in Europe is the thought of his ancestors having been there for so long and people coming in who do not respect all the work and all of the effort that went into forming his country and his culture. And that's when it hit me. That's the difference between coastal elites and leftists and everyone else when it comes to immigration. I grew up on a farm. My husband's mom grew up on a farm, actually a ranch. My mother-in-law, dad, came back from the Second World War, and he went on their farm, this land that he had bought, and he would stake out a 10 by 10 square of the land and pull up by hand thistles, weeds, thorns. He did that his entire life, from the time he came back from fighting for the freedom of this country until the day that he died. He tediously tended that farm, 800 acres, which is the same thing that my dad did on our farm. Americans are proud of this country because you know what? Yes, our ancestors, mine came over around the 1600s, but they came here. They landed on this country, and then they bled and they sweat over this earth to bend it to their will, to create churches, to form cities, to make roads, to carve out a civilization in an absolute wilderness. That's what our ancestors did. And I'm not saying that with some sort of pride, like I did it. If anything, it makes me want to be worthy of the sacrifice that our forefathers gave. It makes me want to be better. It makes me want to create something worthy of being called American. To create something beautiful that is such a shadow of the heroes that went before me. Heroes like my dad, who is one of my heroes, who has sweat over our farm to raise cattle, to feed his family. That's what true Americans feel. We feel a tie to this earth, and I don't give a damn what color your skin is. I don't care about arbitrary characteristics. If you are an American and you have pride in the people that came before us, the people that fought and died in battle to maintain the freedom that we have, like I said, don't make demands of Americans. Lesson number 1. And lesson number 2, respect the fact that we are a country. We have a culture. That culture is an American culture. We speak English here. We value hard work here. We serve our God here. We take care of our families. We take care of our children. We think things are special. We think things like holidays and saying Merry Christmas and serving your fellow neighbor. We find value in those things. And if you don't care about that, or you don't have deep enough ties to those who've actually worked this land and sweat over it and bled for it, don't make empty promises to people who don't give a good damn about it. So to those who are standing at our southern border, like I said, we're the most charitable nation you will ever find. But don't you dare demand anything from us, because we will dig our heels in, our spines are like steel, and our gaze will narrow, because we owe you nothing. Nothing. If someone's in need, we'll help you all day long. But don't act like the country that our families carved out of nothing somehow belongs to you because you may lay claim to it. Because you verbally say so, that you get to come here and reap the benefits of everything that we as Americans treasure and that our ancestors died to create. Do not do that. I was never a person to care about immigration, and I always wondered if it was something that I should care about. Well, you know what? I do. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the color of somebody's skin, has nothing to do with the language that you speak, because guess what? Everyone can learn English. It has to do with an attitude. And an attitude that says, give me something because I'm breathing, that's not American. Get yourself together and get your crap together. And that's all I have to say. I hope President Trump continues to keep people like that, ingrates, who think they're owed something, out of this country. Because that's not what America is about. We're about hard work. We're about discipline. And if you want some of that, you want a little piece of that freedom, then act like it.